Hello YouTube, this is Veteran Mountain Man again, and today I'm coming to you to talk once again about constitutional originalism. So, I've been sitting here, and last night I watched on C-SPAN some of the Gorsuch interview, particularly with the panels for the Judiciary Committee. And I went back and I started looking at some of the things that Democrats said about him. And it seems to boil down to specifically that the Democrats are refusing to vote for him, or at least publicly stating they're refusing to vote for him, simply because he is not an activist judge that will follow their opinion. Now, this is a problem. We have only ever had one judge nomination for the Supreme Court in modern time that was ever brought or threatened with a filibuster. And that judge was receiving income that he wasn't disclosing. As an associate justice of the Supreme Court, was reporting directly to the President of the United States about private proceedings in the Supreme Court, and was generally an unethical individual. He later was refused standing and dismissed from the nomination. So they never even actually had to go through with the filibuster on it. But yet, that is the kind of person that they are equating Gorsuch with. Now, Gorsuch has not lied on the stand. He has done nothing that any of the other previous justices in modern history haven't done, which is refused to talk about active cases or refuse to talk about possible decisions that could be made based on cases that are coming forward to the Supreme Court in the near future. That's because his decisions should be based off the Constitution and should be fairly self-evidentiary. And not knowing all of the individual details without seeing all the testimony and all of the witnesses and all of the evidence, he can't make an accurate determination on how the Constitution applies. Yet you've got people like Chuck Schumer, the Senate Minority Leader, who is saying that, Republicans have got a tough row to hoe to get 60 votes on Gorsuch, because he believes that the judge hasn't been forthcoming while answering questions to the Democrats. And Schumer is saying he should answer these questions, and the judge has an ethical responsibility that he cannot answer questions about cases that may potentially come before the court. So why is it that they're hammering Gorsuch like this, but they didn't hammer the last two Democrat-appointed judges like this? Why is it that it's only okay to hammer an originalist judge who's actually following the law and the dictates of the Constitution, but it's not okay to hammer activist judges that are going to legislate from the bench? I mean, here's Nancy Pelosi talking about Neil Gorsuch from Nancy Pelosi's own press release on the democraticleader.gov. The most important test before the president's nominee to the Supreme Court is whether they will honor the Constitution of the United States. If confirmed, President Trump's choice will have to have a deep and indelible impact on the quality of justice in our country and the rights of the American people. That's a direct quote from her press release. After relentless contempt for women that candidate Trump displayed throughout his campaign, it is no surprise that President Trump intends to place someone hostile to women's rights on the Supreme Court. In the Hobby Lobby case, Neil Gorsuch revealed his eagerness to single out women's health for discrimination and enable employers to meddle in their workers' most intimate health decisions. That is not the opinion that Neil Gorsuch wrote on the Hobby Lobby case. So she just lied to the public in a press release. Why is this woman still in the Congress? This woman has been proven to be insane over and over again, yet California continues to elect her. I don't care if they primary her with another fucking Democrat, excuse my language. She is not sane. You need to get rid of her. Anyhow, she later goes on to say, Judge Gorsuch's record reveals that he holds radical views far outside of the mainstream of American legal thought. The consequences of placing President Trump's justice on the Supreme Court could not be more serious or far-reaching. House Democrats stand with the American people in demanding the toughest scrutiny of Judge Gorsuch before the Republican Senate holds any votes to send him to the highest court of the land. Well, you know what? Representative, you know what, Miss Pelosi? We don't trust you. We don't believe in your judicial activism that you've been cramming down the American people's throats for almost 30 years now. We're done. We want originalism back on the benches. Well, that's all I have for this topic. I'm going to include my link down below to minds.com. I'm also going to include the press release from Nancy Pelosi below so that you can go and read it for yourself to see that I'm not misquoting her. And I encourage you to think on this. Do you want a judge who tries to write legislation from the bench, making decisions on whether or not legislation is legal? Or do you want a man or a woman who will sit on that bench, read the legislation, read the testimony presented, and take a look at the original founding documents to determine whether or not that legislation is legitimate based on the founding principles and documents of this country? Because I know what I want. I want the originalists. I want an entire Supreme Court of originalists. I am tired of activist judges. We have activist politicians. We have activist business leaders. We have activist celebrities. We don't need activist judges. And we need to put our foot down and stop this insanity. Well, thank you all again for joining me. This is Veteran Mountain Man saying, have a great day.